जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी 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 जय यशोदानंदन जय ब्रज जनरंजन जय ब्रज जनरंजन जय यशोदानंदन जय ब्रज जनरंजन जय ब्रज जनरंजन जय यशोदानंदन जय ब्रज जनरंजन जय ब्रज जनरंजन जय यशोदा जय यमुना तीरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय यमुना तीरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय यमुना तीरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय 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 कुंज बिहारी जय माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय जय कुंज बिहारी जय जय कुंज बिहारी जय हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya. Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Nitai Gora. Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Nitai Gora. Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol, Shri Nam Sankirtan ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Rottama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10th, Chapter 65, verse number 1. Shri Shuka Vacha Balabhadra Kuru Shrestha Bhagavan Rathamastitah Suhrdadakshur Utkantah Prayayau Nanda Gokulam. Shri Shuka Vacha Balabhadra Kuru Shrestha Bhagavan Rathamastitah Suhrdadakshur Utkantah Prayayau Nanda Gokulam. Shri Shuka Vacha Balabhadrah Kuru Shrestha Bhagavan Rathamastitah Suhrdadrakshur Utkantah Prayayau Nanda Gokulam. Word meaning. Shri Shuka Uvacha, Shukadev Goswami said, Balabhadra, Lord Balaram, Kuru Sreshta, O best of the Kurus, Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord, Ratham, on his chariot, Asthita, mounted, Suhrit, his well-wishing friends, Dirikshuhu, wishing to see, Utkantha, eager. Prayayau, traveled. Nanda Gokulam, to the cowherd village of Nanda Maharaj. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Shukadeva Goswami said, O best of the Gurus, once Lord Balaram, eager to visit his well-wishing friends, mounted his chariot and travelled to Nanda Gokul. Purport. As Srila Jiva Goswami points out, Lord Balaram's journey to Sri Vrindavan is also described in the Hari Vamsha. Kaschid atha kalasya smritva gopeshu sauhradam jaga jagamaiko vrajam ramah krishnasyanumate sthitah. Remembering the deep friendship he once enjoyed with the cowherd folk, Lord Ram went alone to Vraja, having taken Lord Krishna's permission. The simple residents of Vrindavan were aggrieved that Lord Krishna had gone to live elsewhere, so Lord Balaram went there to console them. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur addresses the question of why Lord Krishna, the great ocean of pure love, did not also go to Vraja. In explanation, the Acharya provides the following two verses. प्रेयशिः प्रेम विख्यातः पितराव अतिवत्सलौ प्रेम वश्यश्च कृष्णस्तां त्यक्त्वा नः कथम् एष्यति इति मत्वैव यादवः प्रत्यबन्ध हरेर्गतौ व्रज प्रेम प्रवर्धिस्व लीलाधीनत्वम् ईयुषः. The Yadus thought, the Lord's beloved girlfriends are famous for their pure ecstatic love, and his parents are extremely affectionate towards him. Lord Krishna is controlled by pure love, so if he goes to see them, how will he be able to leave them and come back to us? With this in mind, the Yadus prevented Lord Hari from going, knowing that he becomes subservient to the pastimes in which he reciprocates the ever increasing love of the inhabitants of Braja. So let us chant prayers. Om Ajnanathimmirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam साधवैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितंश्च नम ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः. हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते. तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गे श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So I would like to seek the blessings of all the Vaishnavas who are present here, so that I can speak something for the pleasure of their lordships and for the pleasure of all the Vaishnavas. So anything we do in Krishna consciousness is not meant for our pleasure. In the material world, whatever we do with the material consciousness, What is the difference between material consciousness and spiritual consciousness? So in the material consciousness, whatever a person does, each and every of his act is motivated by selfishness. He is doing it for himself. But when we act in the spiritual consciousness, we do it for the pleasure of someone else, for the pleasure of Vaishnavas, for the pleasure of spiritual master, for the pleasure of Lord. Uh, so like that. And in that way, when we act for the pleasure of Vaishnavas, Hari Guru and Vaishnavas, then we can experience the real happiness. In the material world, when we act out of uh, selfishness, we don't feel that satisfaction, neither we feel that happiness in our heart. It's only the selfless act that can give us that sense of satisfaction and happiness. So, we even any activity we do, whether we are doing it, whether we are speaking on Srimad Bhagavatam or anything, it's meant for the pleasure of Hari Guru and Vaishnavas, and with their blessings. Any act we do, we are empowered only by the blessings of the Vaishnavas. We see sometimes in the material world, when we try to do something or we try to do some spiritual services. So sometimes when we do these services, sometimes the services are very difficult to do. They are very Herculean services, but still, if we have the blessings of Vaishnavas and spiritual master, we can easily accomplish. And sometimes we start feeling, though it's my capability or it's my strength because of which I am able to accomplish so many things. No, it is not our strength. Our strength is only that we have agreed to abide by the instructions of the Vaishnavas. That is our strength. And because we have agreed to abide by and we have sincere desire to serve, we get empowered, and then we can do something. We can do services which are really wonderful. So that's why whatever we do in Krishna consciousness, we have to do it for the pleasure of Hari Guru and Vaishnavas. So here we see that Lord Balaram is going to Vrindavan. We saw how Krishna, he left Vrindavan, and how Brajavasis, they were so much in separation of Krishna, and they were it was very difficult for them to stay without Krishna, right? And they were all lamenting, crying because the Krishna will not be there. However, the Acharyas say that Krishna doesn't leave Vrindavan. He is always there in Vrindavan. So if Krishna is not present physically, or he is not, we say that he is not there in the manifested form, then where he is? So he is there in the heart of his devotees who are always remembering him, because Krishna is absolute. So when in material world, the person, his qualities, his names and all his attributes are different. Like for example, Prabhupada gives this example that when we are feeling thirsty, if you remember water, if you think of water, your thirst will not be quenched. But in the spiritual world, if you remember Krishna, because Krishna is absolute, Krishna will be there with you, right? So that's why when Krishna is not there, so that's why with these pure devotees, when Krishna is not there in his manifested form, then they remember Krishna very deeply. Rather, when Krishna is not there, their remembrance of Krishna deepens all the more. And they are more with Krishna than any time else, because they are very deeply remembering Krishna. And Krishna being absolute, so whenever we remember Krishna, because Krishna is absolute, he will be there with us. Like for example, Prabhupada gives the example of, in one of the books, Prabhupada says that the moon is there, and when you are walking, the moon is just there with you. It is always there with you. So similarly, when you are chanting the names of Krishna, when you are remembering Krishna, he will be there with you. And similar with the spiritual master, when you remember the spiritual master, he is there with you. Right? Just like we have deities of Srila Prabhupada here. So Srila Prabhupada is absolute, right? So he is there in his deity form. Hmm. Once I was hearing one lecture. So, um, uh, it was spoken that when we are speaking Srimad Bhagavatam, so can we imagine in front of whom we are speaking? Of course, there are devotees whom we know, right? But then Srila Prabhupada is sitting there in his DT form. Gaur Nitai is there in his DT form, and they are personally present there. They are not just the DTs, they are the persons. Hmm. So that's why the spiritual master, the deities, they are absolute. And when you remember them, when you when you take their names, right? So they are non-different. They will be there with you, right? So this is one of the most important understanding, because if we don't have this understanding, then our understanding of Krishna consciousness will remain incomplete, will always remain incomplete, because many times devotees, they keep hankering for the personal association of the spiritual master. They say, oh, where is my spiritual master? I just want to meet him. I just want to greet him. He should smile at me. He should give me some garlands, right? But then one another understanding is that we can always be with our spiritual master if we keep remembering his instructions. We can always be with our spiritual master if we keep associating with him through his words. And associating with the words of the spiritual master is more important than his personal association. Most of the times, yesterday also I was hearing one lecture where it was spoken that sometimes the spiritual master is not available for the guidance, right? Personal guidance. Now sometimes we feel that our problems are the most important problems and we are the most important people. So spiritual master should be there to attend to us. Yes, but a spiritual master has many more important services to accomplish for his spiritual master. So that's why we are not the most important people. And still the answer to this question was, he said that we can take guidance from the senior god brothers, right? They are also the representatives of our spiritual master. And also we can try to find out, we can try to hear the lectures of the spiritual master. We can try to associate with the words of the spiritual master. Hmm? Like that. So that's why uh, Prabhupada, although he might not be there with us physically, but he is still there. He is still there in the form of his books, right? He is still there in the form of his deity. His, and most important thing is, one of the I feel that one of the best or the most important service which was done when Prabhupada was present was to record everything what he spoke. That was something very important. And similarly, all the spiritual masters, their disciples, they keep on recording whatever spiritual master is speaking. Why? So that the disciples who are not in direct touch with the spiritual master, they can still get to associate with him through his Vani. Hmm? So Prabhupada is not there, but still we can associate with Srila Prabhupada through his Vani. And Srila Prabhupada is present in his words. With that faith, if we associate with the Vani of Srila Prabhupada, we will really experience that association. We will really experience that transformation. If we submissively, many times devotees, they have this understanding, or they have this question, Ki Prabhuji, I am going to take initiation now, how to understand the mood of the spiritual master. So how to understand the mood of the spiritual master? You will go and keep roaming around with him, to keep hearing with him. And is it very easy to serve the spiritual master personally? Or is it very easy to serve directly under the spiritual master? It's very, very difficult, because spiritual masters, they are very particular about each and everything. And we may be like, we may be gross people. They are very subtle and they are very to the point. Everything they want perfect, because they have great love for Krishna. So they want to offer everything in a very perfect manner. So we may not be qualified to associate with them directly, right? So one of the ways by which we can associate with them is through the words, through the Vani. And one devotee, he asked one question. He said that many times we have these weeds and we have the Bhakti Lata creeper, right? So we keep hearing the weeds and the Bhakti Lata creeper. So the weeds sometimes they appear similar to the Bhakti Lata creeper, right? And unknowingly, if we are not aware, we start watering the weeds. The weeds start growing. and we feel that our Krishna consciousness is growing. We are growing in our Krishna consciousness. But actually, by our so-called perverted hearing and chanting, we are watering the weeds. The weeds are growing. Right? So how to identify? Because until unless someone is observing us personally, it's very difficult. And even if someone is observing, how he will know what is going on inside our heart? Right? Earlier, the disciples would be in direct touch with the spiritual master, and spiritual master would come to know what is there in the heart, and then he would smash all the false ego, all the pride. Right? One of the duties of the spiritual master is to smash the pride of the disciple to keep him humble. Right? So the spiritual masters would keep observing, and then they would understand, okay, this is the weed, and they would help the disciple to uh, eradicate the weeds and to nourish the Bhakti Lata creeper. But now it's very difficult, right? So how it will be possible? So the answer was given was to keep reading the books of Srila Prabhupada, because Srila Prabhupada books, they will keep exposing. They will speak the truth. They will not speak the relative truth. They will speak the absolute truth. Whatever is absolute, they will expose all our anarthas. And if we are honest, because honesty is also very important. If we really want to advance in Krishna consciousness, we need to be honest. Because the truth will be revealed to us. Now it is up to us whether we accept it or not. Right? The devotees, they chant this verse, Tatenu Kampam Susamikshamanu. Right? So when Parikshit Maharaj, he was cursed. So he became grateful. He became grateful, and he started thanking Krishna for the opportunity that now I will be able to focus fully on Krishna consciousness. Till now I was distracted with so many other engagements. But now I will be able to fully focus with this curse and with my death within 7 days. Right? So he was chanting this verse. He was grateful. He was accepting the responsibility. Right? He was honest. Right? So when we are honest, we accept the responsibility. We don't we don't throw the ball on others. We accept whatever is there. Right? So honesty is very important, because if you want to improve yourself, the first step is honesty. Right? Until unless we accept, okay, I have this problem, we cannot improve. If I have this problem, I need to improve, then I will work for my improvement. But first we have to acknowledge. Because the improvement will come later on. By the mercy of Krishna, the improvement will come. Right? If we do endeavors, Krishna will empower us, we will be able to overcome our anarthas. But until unless we acknowledge them, it will be very difficult. Right? So when we read books of Srila Prabhupada, our anarthas are exposed. And if we are honest, we will acknowledge them. Yes, I have this anartha. Yes, I know that I am proud. I know that I have this anartha of so many things. Lust, pride, anger, envy, greed, illusion. I have so many anarthas still remaining in my heart, and I need to work upon them. I need to overcome these anarthas so that I can go closer to Krishna. Right? But if we are not honest, then it will be very difficult for us. We will, many times we see Prabhupada, he would chastise devotees very heavily. Sometimes devotees would do some mistake, and Prabhupada would point it out. And when he would point it out, it is the general tendency of the people that when a mistake is pointed out, they don't want to accept the responsibility. They want to put it on someone else, or they want to put it on the situations. They want to put it on the people who are around them. But I am not the cause, right? Whatever is happening to me, or whatever mistakes I have done, who is the cause? Are some other people the cause? Are the situations the cause? No, perhaps I am the cause, right? And I have to accept that responsibility. And if we accept that responsibility, we will be able to improve ourselves. We will be able to advance in Krishna consciousness. So that's why when devotees would start talking and beating around the bush, not accepting the responsibility, Prabhupada would become very heavy. And he would keep becoming more and more heavy until unless he would keep giving. Like there was one very senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada, he did some mistake. And when Prabhupada asked him, then he, just a minute. Sorry, I got message of Acharan. So, so when Prabhupada asked him, then he started giving excuses. He gave lot of excuses. The first excuse he gave, Prabhupada chastised him heavily. Then he became shaken, because the chastisement of a spiritual master can really shake you, right? So then again he gave excuse. Then Prabhupada further chastised him. Then after some time he again gave excuse. Prabhupada further chastised him, and Prabhupada kept on chastising him more and more heavily, until unless he didn't accepted the responsibility. Yes, Prabhupada, it was my mistake. I am sorry. I will improve it further. That's what Prabhupada wanted to hear. That's it. He accepted the responsibility. We acknowledge our mistake. We can just improve ourselves. But if we don't accept the responsibility, then what will happen? We will never be able to improve ourselves. We will stay in that darkness for eternity. Right? So that's why this verse of Tatenu Kampam, it's a very deep verse. It's a verse where a devotee, he accepts responsibility. And what to say of all of us who are struggling in our Krishna consciousness? The pure devotees, they didn't had any, like for example, the Pandavas. Now they suffered so much, and they had to undergo so much of trials and tribulations. Even Bhishma Dev, right, the best of the Vaishnavas, he says that aho kastam, aho anyayam, you have undergone so much of trials and tribulations, and so much of injustice was done to all of you, right? So the Pandavas, even they were gratefully accepting. Queen Kunti, she was praying to Krishna, right? She was praying to Krishna, Vipada Shantu Tashashut. Let the calamities come again and again, right? So that I can remember, right? So the devotees, when problems come in their life, they accept the responsibility. They say, okay, I am responsible. How I am responsible? Is it my karma? Maybe. Or is it the love of Krishna coming in some way? Yes, definitely. So the love of Krishna sometimes doesn't comes. The love of Krishna in our life comes through the devotees, right? Sometimes it comes through the Vaishnavas. The love of Vaishnavas we experience is actually the love of Krishna, right? It is manifesting in the form of love of Vaishnavas. And then how it comes? The mother, when she loves the child, what happens? Sometimes she may beat the child also, right? Or sometimes out of concern, she may chastise the child. Similarly, when Krishna, he sees that the devotees are not, maybe they are going some astray, or they need, or he has got stuck up. He is not taking further steps. He is in step 10th and he is not going to step 11th. He needs to become more eager to reach to me. He is now becoming somewhat complacent, self-satisfied with whatever devotional service he is doing. There needs to be more eagerness. So then Krishna sends some purification, right? Further purification. And if a devotee, he accepts the purification as the mercy of Krishna, then he advances. He advances. The world may not be able to see, but the spiritual master and the senior Vaishnavas, they will be able to see, okay, this devotee, now he is advancing. Earlier he was here, now he is going little further, closer to Krishna. So that's why this is very important, to accept the responsibility. And if we accept the responsibility, then Krishna will be pleased. Krishna will be happy, Guru will be happy, Vaishnavas will be happy, and we will be, with our pure heart, we will be able to serve them better, right? Because if our heart is impure, we may be able to do lot of things, but sometimes it is not pleasing to devotees, because we are not conducting ourselves properly. Sometimes it is not pleasing to Guru, right? Sometimes it is not pleasing to Krishna, because our heart is not pure. We are not following proper Vaishnava principles. We are just wanting to, we just want to show off, right? We just want to show that how great I am, right? But with our pure heart, with love, when we serve, then it becomes proper devotional service. Then Guru is pleased. Then the Vaishnavas are pleased. Then Krishna is pleased, right? So here we see that how Lord Balaram, he is going to Vrindavan for giving solace to the Brajavasis. Now Brajavasis, when Krishna went, they were in great separation from Krishna. But as we know that they were always remembering Krishna. In So in their greatest remembrance, when they were remembering Krishna or when they were feeling greatest separation from Krishna, what would Brajavasis do? What would Brajavasis do? They would start narrating the pastimes of Krishna and they would start chanting the holy names of Krishna with each other. That's what they would start doing, right? So in that narration of and they would start acting the pastimes of Krishna. Means they were completely absorbed. They would forget who they are and completely absorbed in describing about the pastimes of Krishna, chanting the holy names of Krishna with great eagerness, right? And then in the core of their heart, they would experience Krishna in a very deeper way, right? So that's why the Brajavasis, they were never separated from Krishna. They were always with Krishna, right? When Krishna was manifested physically, yes, they were there. And when he was not there, they were there with Krishna through his remembrance, because Krishna is absolute. It says that when the Gopas were there, the cowherd friends of Krishna, so they would get to be with Krishna in the morning. They would get to be with Krishna in the morning time, like in the daytime, right? Daytime, they would leave for they would leave for herding the cows. They would play so many games together, and then in the evening they would come back. So all these cowherd boys, they would be there with Krishna throughout the day, and in the evenings they would not be with Krishna. Then what? They would not be able to sleep. They would always be there in remembrance of Krishna. They would keep remembering Krishna. Sometimes they would cry in separation of Krishna, right? So the cowherd boys, they were remembering Krishna. And the gopis, so Krishna would be there with the gopis in the night. So then in the daytime, Krishna was not there with them. Then gopis would be remembering Krishna. Mother Yashoda, she would be remembering Krishna when Krishna was not there, right? So like that, every Brajavasi, if Krishna was there personally, they were there with Krishna, serving him. And when Krishna was not there, they were absorbed in the remembrance of Krishna. They were absorbed in the pastimes of Lord Krishna, right? And it says that the cowherd boys, they would not be able to sleep throughout the night. They would be eagerly waiting. Sometimes they would be eagerly waiting when the day will come, when the daytime will happen, and we will go with Krishna, right? And sometimes we know that sometimes we are anticipating something, then we go in a different world. We start imagining sometimes. So they would imagine, and sometimes in their absorption, it was not day, it was still the night, mid of the night. They would get up and they would start calling Krishna. That okay, Krishna, now come, the time is there. Let's go for herding the cows. But it was night time, right? And then they would go, oh, it is night, then they would go back and take rest. So like that. So we see that how Brajavasis, they were never separated from Krishna. And we also see that how we all are searching for happiness. We all are searching for pleasure. George Harrison, it's a very important thing which he wrote in the this beginning of Krishna book. He says that everyone is looking for Krishna. Some know, some don't know, right? And we can also say that everyone is looking for happiness. Some people know, some don't know. Or we can also say that everyone is looking for rasa, right? Some know, some don't know, right? So which rasa? Is it the mundane rasa, right? Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu describes about the mundane rasa and the bhakti rasa, right? So is it the mundane rasa we are looking for? No, we are enjoying it a lot. Means we have tried enjoying it a lot through various ways, through society, family, relationships, through trying to control, trying to be the proprietor, trying to enjoy. So many things we have tried, but still we were not happy. The mundane rasa could not satisfy us. That's why all of us are somehow now trying to do something in Krishna consciousness, to experience that happiness and satisfaction which we were searching for, right? So that's why we want to actually experience the rasa of Krishna consciousness. And what is this rasa? This rasa is the rasa of selfless love. The selfless love that we experience with the Vaishnavas, where we don't have any ulterior motivations and we just want to serve them without any ulterior motivations, right? Where we don't have ulterior motivations, we just want to serve a spiritual master, right? And then a devotee, he gives his all his energy for the service of his spiritual master, all his consciousness, and one smile of his spiritual master. That's it. That is what is the reward. One maybe spiritual master may say thank you very much. That's it. That's it, right? Many times devotees would be busy serving Srila Prabhupada. They would be for days, for months, they would be serving Srila Prabhupada. What was their reward? Their reward was one smile of Srila Prabhupada, one appreciation of Srila Prabhupada, one embrace of Srila Prabhupada, one letter of Srila Prabhupada. That's it. And this is what is the spiritual rasa, right? And then the spiritual rasa of experiencing love of Krishna, right? So that is what is the spiritual rasa, and that's what we are actually looking for. And Krishna is the reservoir of this rasa. He is the reservoir, right? So that's why if we serve Krishna, if we serve devotees, if we serve a spiritual master without any ulterior motivations, without wanting anything in return, because many times we need something in return, we want some reward. We are always looking for reward. Like when we are doing work, right? When we work in companies, then what happens? When we work in companies, then we want money, right? Who wants to work for free, right? If they don't pay you, you say, I don't want to work. Or your motivation for working will be lesser, right? But so that's okay. That's fine. We being devotees, we don't have to get exploited by the mundane people. That is okay. But in Krishna consciousness, that is not the right consciousness. That's what is not the right attitude, right? We're not doing something to get something in return. We may get, we may not get, right? You may get some facilities, you may not get. You may get some appreciation, no one may appreciate you. No one may acknowledge you. Some others may get acknowledged, some others may get credit. You have done lot of things, but still you feel that you have done lot of things. Others also have done lot of things, and they will get credit, and no one will acknowledge you, right? So still, are we still wanting to do Krishna consciousness? Definitely. In the Mahabharata, he died. Arjuna became very disturbed. He became very, very disturbed, and then uh, he took a vow, right? Then when the five sons of Draupadi, they were killed, Draupadi became disturbed, right? And when Krishna, he left the planet, Arjuna became disturbed. So he was not knowing the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, right? He was not knowing the philosophy. He didn't had a proper understanding of the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. It says that when Krishna left, he was very disturbed, and he expressed his sadness to Yudhishthir Maharaj. Right? He was very sad. But it says later that he remembered the instructions of Krishna, right? He remembered the instructions of Krishna, and then he pacified himself, right? So being devotees doesn't mean, what do we actually mean by Moha Maya, and what is, we really don't understand what is this Moha Maya, right? Many times we have incomplete understanding. That's why with devotees also we behave in a very, we say, we sometimes don't treat them as devotees. We don't treat them as persons. We behave very insensitively. Why? Because we have incomplete understanding of Krishna consciousness. It describes about Mother Yashoda. When Mother Yashoda was Krishna, this is on the day of when Shakatasur came, right? So Mother Yashoda, she was celebrating Utthana ceremony for Krishna. Now they are devotees, they are pure devotees. Why they need to celebrate, right? So it says that being devotees doesn't mean that we become insensitive. Being devotees, it's very important that we are sensitive to the people. And what do we mean by being sensitive? Being sensitive means being sensitive to the body, right? Now it doesn't mean that we start going and doing social service, no. But we understand, we have complete understanding. What is that complete understanding? The complete understanding is seeing everything in relationship with Krishna. That is what is the complete understanding. When you include Krishna everywhere, your understanding will be complete. If you remove Krishna from the picture, it will become incomplete. So why do we want to take care of the body of the devotees? The Vaishnavas, when devotees fall sick, right? We want to take care of their body. When they have some sickness, we want to give them some facilities, something. Why? Why do we want to do that? Why do we want to do that? Is it Maya? We should allow them to just get perished. No problem. You are not this body, you are spirit, soul. Anyhow, this body is a source of suffering. So better you die early. है ना? You leave your body as soon as possible. Let me help you. I will also help you. No, that is a very wrong understanding. We may not speak, but we have such type of, we may not think also consciously, but our attitude is insensitive, right? We too much bother about the, no, too much bother about other things than ourselves, right? But we have to understand that the body is a vehicle. Body is a vehicle. Everyone understands that. We have that understanding. For what? This body is a vehicle for service to Krishna. And we need this vehicle. We cannot serve Krishna in a ghostly, the ghost also may serve, but we don't want to go in that ghostly form and serve. Right? So we want to stay and we want to serve. We want to use this body in the service of Krishna. So if we want to use this body, similar is the case for other Vaishnavas also. So we have to take care of them very nicely so that he can serve Krishna in the best possible way. He is utilizing his body for the service of Krishna. He is not utilizing it for sense gratification. Right? So that's why the spiritual masters are very. Sometimes we get doubtful. Once long back, when devotee was giving lectures, so he was telling that spiritual master started telling that the prasadam for the devotee should be very nice. It should be very tasty. Right? And the kitchen in charge was not cooking prasadam properly. Right? So it was asked to the kitchen in charge, why? So he said that if prasadam is not cooked properly, then devotees will eat less. And it's good. It's good for them. Right? So then the spiritual master, he told them, no, it is not the right consciousness. Right? The right consciousness is we should try to serve them the best. Leave it to them. Whether they want to eat or not, that is their choice. But you do your service the best. So that's why sometimes I also would get surprised. Why all, and it's not just one spiritual master. All spiritual masters, they are very much worried. Recently I heard about Jayapataka Maharaj, that one Mataji, she went to him and she said, Maharaj, there is no arrangement of milk for children. Just that same evening, milk was arranged for the children for free, for all the Matajis who are having children. Why? Why it was done? Right? So then we understand that actually they are very much concerned. Right? They are very much concerned. When devotees fall sick, sometimes the senior Vaishnavas, they get involved. Spiritual masters, they get involved. Right? When the God brothers are sick, the spiritual masters, they go and they spend so much time with them, leaving all their duties. Why? Why? Because their body is also important. Because they are using their body in service of Krishna, it has become spiritualized. It has become spiritualized and he is using it. It is a vehicle. So we need to assist him in his service. So if we are actually helping him, then we are assisting that Vaishnava in his service to Krishna. That is what is the thing. Similarly, we have to be sensitive to the mind, to the emotions of Vaishnavas. Right? When we speak unkindly, why we should speak kindly to the Vaishnavas? We see that sometimes I talk to the outside people and they say, अरे आप कुछ ज़्यादा ही refined type के लग रहे हैं. मतलब because now it is there inside and I don't understand sometimes when I go outside, I means it's difficult to behave in a different way. So I just keep behaving as a devotee, means so called in that way that things are there. They say, अरे how you are so refined in your talks, right? You appear a little different. Sometimes my relatives, they say, अरे ये कुछ अलग नहीं लग रहा है आपको. So then I realized that in our Vaishnav circle we are very refined, right? In corporate circle, I was just talking to some people. I said, how I will come to know that these means what happened? I was doing something and I did not get any feedback, right? So feedback means I was doing something in the company and I did not get any feedback. So I asked the other person. I said, is it that they are not giving me feedback? Means they are trying to avoid giving me feedback because they feel that I may feel offended or something. He said, in which world you are staying? So I said, so I just said, what do you want to say? He says, this is corporate world. This is not ISKCON, right? And he said, if they are not happy with you, if they are happy with you, they will not speak. They will not speak. And if they are not happy with you, they will make it 100 times and they will speak to you. Right? So, means you are doing well. That's why they are not speaking. So just keep quiet and just keep doing your things. Right? And actually I could not accept it. I was still I was still confused. And then to the point that the person, but not, I was not doing anything. The person himself called and he said, okay, sir, we are happy with this, something he said. Then I understood. This is what is corporate world. In our Krishna consciousness, when we want to give correction to someone, we have to think 100 times how to speak, what will be the impact, how he will take it, will it not disturb his Krishna consciousness. Why do we think? Why do we have to think all these things? Just go and blurt it out. And I understand that I was not like this before. Before coming to Krishna consciousness, I was not like this. Right? So why? Right? The biggest, sometimes when we have management meetings, sometimes the discussion happens long, how to help the person, how to give feedbacks, how to give correction, how to do something. Why? Right? Because we need to be sensitive to the mind of the Vaishnava also. Because if he is disturbed with his mind, then what will happen? Again, he will not be able to do his devotional service properly. Right? So that's why we have to be sensitive with our words. We should not speak unkindly. And we feel that, okay, for juniors, it is true. For if someone is senior, if someone is my equal, I can speak the way I want with him. No, they also need that. Right? Everyone needs appreciation. Everyone needs acknowledgement. Everyone needs that love, care, that sense of everything. Everyone needs that security. Everyone. And when that is not there, anyone can become insecure. Anyone can become insecure, whoever that person may be. That's why we see, even yesterday I was hearing one lecture. So His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj was there and His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj was there. Now it was amazing to see that would happen in Pune Yatras. How the two great Vaishnavas, we would all be there. Mukul Leela Prabhu, Srinitaya Prabhu, and all these Ananda Bhagwan Prabhu. We all would be there in Pune Yatra, and we would just be mesmerized to see the dealings between the two spiritual masters, how they would deal with each other, how they would appreciate each other, right? So, like the questions were coming. So Radhanath Maharaj was telling, now Bhakti Charu Maharaj would answer the question, should answer the question. Bhakti Charu Maharaj said, no, I don't know. Although he knows the answer. Is it that he will not know? He is the spiritual master of thousands of disciples. Why he will not know? He knows, but he says he should answer the question. So these are all very fine dealings. Even at that level, they are doing it. Even we hear about Chaitanya Charitamrit. In Chaitanya Charitamrit, Lord Chaitanya himself did those refined dealings with the Vaishnavas. Very refined. Why he was so refined? Right? So the point is that the mind is also a vehicle. Right? We use our mind, we use our intelligence in the service of Krishna. And we should not act in a way by which to disturb the devotees. We should be very sensitive to them. And at the same time, we also take a spiritual care, right, of ourselves and others also. So that is what is the complete understanding. And being in Krishna consciousness doesn't mean that we become insensitive. We have to have proper understanding of what is moha and what is maya. When we remove Krishna from the picture, that becomes moha and maya. But if Krishna is there in the picture, and when we relate with all other devotees, Vaishnavas, in that perspective, seeing everyone connected to Krishna, then it is not moha maya, it is devotional service. It is devotional service, right? Even for Grahasthas, like we were attending this seminar, I was surprised. It was spoken that when you take nice care of your wife and children, it's actually devotional service. In proper perspective. And what do we mean by taking nice care in proper perspective? Seeing them in connection with Krishna. Prabhupada sometimes would say that for ladies, he says that if they take care of the child, it is as good as doing deity worship. So I was also surprised. I said, this is a new perspective, right? This is completely new. But yes, because everything is related to Krishna, and if we see everything in relationship with Krishna, and if we conduct ourselves, act in that way, then we are doing devotional service always, right? And if we don't see in that perspective, if we don't see things in connection with Krishna, definitely it will become Moha and Maya for us. Right? So these are some thoughts from my side. And just last thing I would say, that here it says that there sometimes is a dynamic competition between the devotees. Transcendental, not dynamic, transcendental competition. So Yadus and the Brajavasis. So when Krishna was there with Brajavasis, Brajavasis would not want Krishna to go to, right, to Mathura. Right? Why? They wanted always Krishna to be with them. Right? So were they selfish? Not necessarily. It was actually their love for Krishna. So similarly, the Yadus were very fearful. They were knowing that because Krishna, while he was sleeping, he would start calling the names of gopis. So they were knowing that Krishna is already very much absorbed. So he is not, the Brajavasis are not here, and still he is so absorbed. He is always thinking of them. So much so that in night he starts calling the names of Brajavasis. So if he happens to go there, will he return back? No, never he will return back. So that's why they were always wanting to hold on to Krishna, so that he will be there with us. So this is like a transcendental, what we say, something transcendental, where devotees, they want always Krishna to be with them. We don't have to judge it. It's the love of Krishna, and we just have to relish the wonderful pastimes that we see of Krishna. So thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Go Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. So just a small announcement I want to make. Acharnaku, I think he has already posted in the group, but still I want to tell, because Prabhu has sent me message. Today 12 to 1:30, Lokanath Maharaj will be visiting ISKCON Newtown. 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. His Holiness Loknath Swami Maharaj will be here at ISKCON Newtown. Hare Krishna.